Welcome to Dolly Talk. This is Dolly. How is everybody doing? I have Junior with me. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Junior. I hope I don't get any angry comments about that, guys. Today we are, you want to go? Okay, toodles. Let's see. Today we are doing the James Ogletree murder trial. So it's day one, start with opening. If you guys were here on last week or 2 weeks ago, days blend together. We did Anthony Cummings, and he was acquitted. Surprisingly enough. So I, at the time, thought that James Ogletree had taken a plea deal, but it turns out no. He is actually going to trial, and that trial started yesterday. So two people are alleged to have committed a murder while in prison. One of those people so far has been acquitted. That defense kind of threw all the blame on Ogletree. So now we have a different lawyer for the defense. Defendant is James Ogletree, and the prosecutors are the same, though. So it's going to be a very similar case, I'm expecting, to what we saw. But I imagine the prosecutor's going to change up strategy a little bit because they got the L for the last one. So Kat is here. How are you doing? It's always good to see you. Half Irish is here. Wow. Is Junior treating Babu okay for their birthday? Oh, yeah. They're really good with each other, thankfully. Brad is here. Johnny. Scott. Wow. Let's see. Is it a different lawyer? I could have sworn he was the same. No, it's a different lawyer. Different public defender. We've seen him before. We've seen several trials in this courthouse, and kind of all the lawyers and prosecutors kind of blend together. But anyway, so yeah, we are going to start now with opening statements. Yeah, we've seen him a lot. Let me know if there's any issue with me lagging or video quality. I am trying to download today's of the trial, so I'm hoping there won't be an issue with that.
Questions over the break, correct? All right, at this time, we are going to hear opening statements from counsel. Ms. Nicholson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are here today because the defendant, James Ogletree, along with his co-defendant, Anthony Cummings, went into the cell of the victim, Marquise Wetherington, and viciously attacked him. For 13 minutes, they physically assaulted Mr. Wetherington, stole his belongings, and left him beaten and bloodied on the cold concrete floor of his cell. As a direct result of this attack, caused by both the defendant and his partner, the victim succumbed to his injuries and was found dead in his cell the next morning. Those are the basic facts of this case. What I want to do now is go through and provide you more of the details about what occurred. On the evening of December 6, 2023, inmates on the second range of J Block were out for their rec time, where they could roam about the block, sit in the day room, take showers, make phone calls, etc. At 7:04 p.m., Marquise Wetherington can be seen in the doorway of his cell, 2J3, the third cell on the second range of J Block, a general population housing unit at Lebanon Correctional Institution. This is the last time that Marquise Wetherington will be seen alive on surveillance video. Anthony Cummings and the defendant, James Ogletree, can then be seen entering cell 2J3 and sliding the door shut. 10 minutes later, at 7:14 p.m., Anthony Cummings leaves cell 2J3 with a white mesh bag, consistent with what's known as a commissary bag. He can be seen taking it to a cell on the other side of the range and then re-entering 2J3 at 7:17 p.m. Seconds later, both Anthony Cummings and the defendant can be seen leaving 2J3, sliding the door shut behind them, and heading in opposite directions on the range. And at this point, blood can be seen on the white thermal pants of the defendant, James Ogletree. No one enters the cell for 40 minutes, at which point Marquise Wetherington's cellmate, Jason Addison, returns and enters the cell for approximately 1 minute. You will hear from Jason Addison that between when the defendant leaves the cell at 7:17 p.m. and when he enters the cell 40 minutes later, he's approached by Anthony Cummings, who advises him he needs to check on his cellie. You will hear that when Jason Addison enters cell 2J3 for the first time, the victim, Marquise Wetherington, is laid out on the floor, naked from the waist down and apparently unconscious. From that point forward, Jason Addison enters and exits the cell a number of times before entering with Mr. Cummings at 8:12 p.m. You're going to hear that during that approximate 3-minute window that Mr. Addison was in the cell with Mr. Cummings, they moved the victim up onto his rack, the top bunk. Over 12 hours later, at 7:42 a.m. on the morning of December 7th, Marquise Wetherington is found unresponsive by Corrections Officer Tyler Lay and Jimmy Potts, and is ultimately pronounced deceased at 8 a.m. by Cory Girdman with the Turtle Creek Township Fire Department. Trooper Christopher Creech with the Ohio State Highway Patrol is called in to investigate the circumstances surrounding the victim's death. Cell 2J3 is photographed and evidence is collected. This was Marquise Wetherington as he lay in the prison infirmary, where Trooper Creech photographed his body and collected his clothing. Security cameras are then reviewed, and the defendant, along with Mr. Cummings, are identified as suspects. Trooper Kyle Font searched the cell of both Mr. Cummings in 2J31 and Mr. Ogletree in 2J17 to find possible evidence. Located in Anthony Cummings' cell was a blue sweatshirt matching that which he was seen wearing in the surveillance video, with apparent bloodstains on it. And found in the defendant's cell, in a trash can, are the white thermal pants with apparent bloodstains. Those items are eventually sent to the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations, where forensic scientist Catherine Daly confirms the presence of Marquise Wetherington's DNA on both the sweatshirt belonging to Mr. Cummings and the white thermal pants belonging to the defendant. Ultimately, Mr. Wetherington's body was transported to the Montgomery County Coroner's Office, where an autopsy was performed. The coroner, Dr. Susan Brown, determined that Marquise Wetherington died as a result of multiple blunt force injuries to the head, resulting in subdural and subarachnoid hemorrhage, which means bleeding in and around the brain, in addition to blunt force injuries to the neck, the chest, the abdomen, and other extremities. Additionally, she found evidence of strangulation through petechiae in and around the eyes, bruising to the neck, as well as bruising to the soft tissue and muscle within the neck. Through further review of the surveillance footage, other potential witnesses are identified and interviewed. You will hear from Sha Keem during this trial about what he saw occurring in the cell during the 13 minutes in question. You will hear that both the defendant and Anthony Cummings were active participants in a violent assault against Mr. Wetherington. The defendant participated in 2 interviews with the Ohio State Highway Patrol. The first on December 7th with Trooper Kyle Klontz and Trooper Michael Schuler, and the second on December 8th with Trooper Christopher Creech and Sergeant Lonnie Butler. You will hear those 2 interviews that the defendant gives multiple versions of what occurred on the evening of December 6, 2023, inside cell 2J3. James Ogletree is charged with 3 offenses: felony murder, in which the state will need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant caused the death of another as a proximate result of committing a violent felony. In this case, that violent felony is felonious assault, for which the state will need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant knowingly caused serious physical harm to another.
Good question.
And you will hear that serious physical harm means, amongst other things, an injury that can result in death. Aggravated robbery, in which the state will need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, in committing a theft offense, inflicted serious physical harm on the victim. And in addition to being charged with felony murder, felonious assault, and aggravated robbery, you are going to be instructed at the conclusion of this trial on the theory of complicity.
I'm texting him right now.
Which the judge will instruct you means that if you find that the defendant aided or abetted his co-defendant, which means supported, assisted, encouraged, cooperated with, advised, or incited this offense, he can be found guilty just as if he were the principal offender. Ladies and gentlemen, at the conclusion of this case, the state is going to ask that you hold the defendant, James Ogletree, accountable for the brutal assault that resulted in the death of Marquise Wetherington and find him guilty on all counts.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholson. Mr. Brenner?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, hello again. This is one of these cases where I'd say the prosecution and myself agree on about 85% of what Ms. Nicholson just said. We are not going to contest, and we cannot contest, that Mr. Wetherington was found dead in his cell. The question is not whether he was found dead. The question is who caused those injuries that led to his death and why. The state is going to attempt to paint Mr. Cummings and Mr. Ogletree as affiliates in some kind of a scheme here. I put it to you to focus closely on the testimony and the evidence that you're going to hear and you're going to see. You're going to see surveillance video. You're going to hear statements. You're going to hear statements from Mr. Ogletree. We are going to demonstrate throughout this trial that prison, in particular, the Lebanon Correctional Institution, is a violent place with a certain set of rules. Some of those rules include prohibitions enforced pretty strictly amongst the inmates against what we call snitching. The state is going to attempt to use the fact that Mr. Ogletree's story changed as per se evidence that he's hiding something, that he's covering it up. When in fact, what is taking place is he is following the code of that institution, which we're going to hear from multiple witnesses here today. There was no scheme in common between Mr. Ogletree and Mr. Cummings in this case. And Mr. Ogletree's in the cell. We're not disputing that. It's on the video, right? You're going to see the video. You're going to hear testimony about what took place. And again, I want to stress to all of you to focus very closely on what is taking place and whether there's any indication that Mr. Cummings and Mr. Ogletree were working together in any kind of scheme that would rise to the level of complicity. What you're going to hear is that Mr. Wetherington and Mr. Cummings knew each other from back home. Nobody knows Mr. Ogletree.
Aww.
And so the state's theory of the case is not going to hold up to scrutiny. And I want, again, to stress to all of you to focus on exactly what you see on this video, exactly what the witnesses say. Because again, we're not going to sit here and argue, oh, that's not him on that video. We're not going to do that. What we are going to argue is he had nothing to do with Mr. Cummings's assault and robbery of Mr. Wetherington. He's in the cell. That's very different from being actively involved. You already saw, Ms. Nicholson showed you, that's Mr. Cummings leaving the cell with a bag, a commissary bag. The theory the state's going to present is that this was an aggravated robbery to get some kind of commissary materials. Mr. Ogletree is never seen with any of these materials. And we are going to show at the conclusion of all evidence, both by the state and by the defense, that there is insufficient evidence and that you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, must acquit Mr. Ogletree of all of these charges. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brenner. Call your first witness.
Sid call Tyler Lay.
Yeah, come dog, not guilty, bros. I texted MLS to ask about that because the prosecutor kept saying he committed the murder, but he was acquitted. So I mean, yeah, okay, you could have. Oh, okay. School's not okay. First of all, I really like this guy's shirt. Well, first of all, I really like this guy's fro. Like that is pretty badass. I'm kind of jealous, quite frankly. Also, do the math. School's not prison. I like this guy. He is a good role model. Second of all, yes, I'll pause on Augie when we get a second. What was I going to say? So I suppose it's beneficial for the defense that the state accuses Cummings, because if they want to throw Cum Dog under the bus, then both sides are going to say Cummings was involved. But Ogletree's defense is now saying, I'm innocent, I'm a good boy, I did nothing wrong. I was just wrong place, wrong time. So I suppose they wouldn't object to it.
Raise your right hand, please. You swear from the testimony you give in these proceedings to be the truth, the whole
Augie and Cum Dog.
Got it?
Sure.
Proceed. Water if you need it. That's the testimony.
Proceed, Your Honor. Please. Thank you. Sir, will you please state your name, spell your last name for the record?
Tyler Lay, Ley,
Where are you employed?
Lebanon Correctional Institution.
That is a prison here in Warren County, Ohio. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been employed at Lebanon Correctional Institution?
This November will make 13 years.
What is your current position with Lebanon Correctional?
I'm a lieutenant.
And what do your duties consist of as a lieutenant?
Well, right now I'm over the mail and visit.
Changing the
also,
camera.
I'm sorry, you're over the what visit?
Mail and visit.
Okay.
So I deal with all the mail coming in, legal mail coming in, and also visitation and also food service.
Okay. And what was your position back on December 7th of 2023?
I was the bid officer in J Block.
And could you tell the jurors, what is a bid officer?
So a bid officer is a person that's a regular post. It's where they're going to go every day that they're scheduled to work, depending on what shift they're on and what part of the institution that they're working.
And so the prison has different blocks, is that right?
Correct.
Approximately how many blocks does the Lebanon Correctional have?
Aw, thank you, sweetie.
$13
Okay.
with the segregation units.
So there are some general population units and then there are some segregation units.
Correct.
Okay. Let's talk about J block specifically. What type of block is that?
The general population block.
Anybody can be housed there.
Correct.
How many stories is J block?
3 tiers.
Okay. And sometimes is that called different ranges?
Yes, range 1, range 2, range 3.
Okay. And you said there's 3 tiers, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Back in December of 2023, were all 3 tiers being used to house inmates?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay.
Is it possible that just 1 and 2 were? Do you think 3 were?
Yes. I don't remember what year it was that we shut down range 3 to where it was just range 1 and 2 that we were housing inmates on.
Okay, but definitely, you know for sure that in December of 2023, range 1 and 2 were being housed by
100%. Yeah.
inmates. Okay. Talk to the jurors about a kind of a typical day in prison for an inmate. Like, what time do they get up? Are they allowed out for recreational activities? Are they fed? Kind of walk them through a typical day.
A typical day for an
Fed,
offender,
watered.
it's very structured. So at 6:30,
Doesn't
so
sound like
at
dogs,
6
why
o'clock,
don't you?
when we come in to report, we do our first count of everybody that's in that housing unit. At 6:30, count will clear. That's when the insulin diabetics, and also food service workers will be released. We also do all the license plates and tags for the state of Ohio at Lebanon Correctional. So our OPI workers are normally released around 6:45, 6:50, depending on how the movement's going that morning. Right around 7 o'clock, day room opens up for the range during that time frame. So day rooms normally open from 7 until about 10, 7 till about 10. So the inmates are out that live on that range. They're out sitting in the day room. They're getting on the phones that are provided. There's also a GTL room to where they can go and plug their GTLs in, and they are able to FaceTime their families and stuff like that on their tablets. During each block has a certain time frame of when they go to recreation, and they will be called over the radio. The officers will release them to their rec times, depending on if it's morning, afternoon, and depending on if it's gym rec or if it's yard rec, because those time frames differ and who they go with during those times.
And then are there regularly scheduled meals throughout the day?
Yes. No housing unit goes beyond 14 hours in the afternoon. So when they go from dinner, they will have a meal that following morning, and they get 3 hot meals a day unless there's a specialty meal or something's going on with religious factors and stuff like that.
When a range is released for day room, is it 1 range at a time?
For day room, yes, sir.
Okay, so like if you're on the first range, first floor, when that floor is having day room, anybody on the first range can go. But is the people on the second range, are they supposed to stay in their cell?
Yes, they'll be secured in their cell.
Okay, and then kind of the adverse of that, if once second range has day room, they're allowed to go down to where the tables are on that first floor and congregate in that area and use the phones and things like that.
Yes, sir.
Are inmates, when it's day room time, are they allowed to go into each other's cells?
No.
And why is that?
We don't, unless they're in our merit block, which is G. George, we don't let house visiting because that's when bad things happen. If an inmate is going to go into another cell, there's normally one reason for it, and it's not normally a good reason. They're either trying to sell something, they're trying to bargain for something, exchange of drugs, fighting. A lot of those things happen inside the cells if that was to be allowed.
What kind of things happen if an inmate's found out of place?
They're found out of place. Depending on the severity of it, they can either be put back into their original cell or even into the whole segregation.
Is there a standing count conducted at some point during the day?
Yes, standing count at Lebanon Correctional is 4 p.m., where every inmate has to be feet on ground standing up.
Okay. And so does that just happen one time during the day where everybody has to be stood up and accounted for?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's at 4 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
Are there other counts that are conducted throughout the day? I know you talked about there's a count that's done first thing in the morning. Are there other counts that are conducted?
There's numerous counts throughout the entire from 6 a.m. There's a count at 6 a.m. that clears at 11, or it clears at 6:30. Then you have 11 o'clock count that clears at 11:30. Then you go to the 4 o'clock count, which is 4 o'clock, and it clears at 4:30. And then our next count's at 9:30 at nighttime when it's night lockdown. They have a count then, and it's cleared at 10. We have a following count at 10:30 when third shift comes in. They have their 10:30 count that ends at 11, midnight, 2 and 4 a.m.
So let's talk about those counts, because you said there's only one standing count, and that's the 4 o'clock where an inmate actually has to be stood up and you're making contact with that inmate. Is that right?
Correct.
These other counts that you're talking about that are occurring, what is the procedure? What do you have to see from an inmate? How does that work?
Some type of skin. It can't just be a pile of blankets on a bed that looks like a body. We have to see some type of visible skin as we're going out and counting as they're laying in their beds, or they're laying on some of the offenders will even lay their mattresses on the floor and sleep on the floor. We have to be able to see some type of skin as we're doing rounds.
Okay. But you don't have to make verbal contact with them. Is that right?
No, sir.
They don't have to get up and move or shake or anything like that. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You just have to see some type of skin.
Correct.
Okay. So we just talked about the different counts that occur. Are there also range checks that are conducted throughout the day?
Yes, sir.
To the evening hours?
All day, 24/7. There's a range check
Pervert.
supposed to be done 30 minutes, but not consecutively. It's supposed to be staggered. So if somebody went to 27, they would never exceed 30 minutes, but it needs to be staggered.
And what's the purpose of a range check and how do those typically work?
The purpose of a range check is, one, making sure things are going how they should be properly going in the housing units, making sure we're trying to prevent any fights that are happening in the cells. Inmates that are wanting to indulge into intoxicating drugs while in the prison, we're making sure that if we come across that, we can handle that as is. And when getting medical involved or issues like that, those range checks are for the safety and security of the institution.
So every 30 minutes, and you said it's staggered, so as they don't know when to expect it, but every 30 minutes, somebody's doing a walk around the range, just kind of looking out for things to make sure nothing seems out of place.
Correct.
Again, for these range checks, does there have to be two people in the cell each time a corrections officer walks by and does a range check?
No.
Because they can be at day room, I would assume, or rec or wherever. Even if they're in their cell, does the officer have to make verbal contact with them? They just need to see, they're just looking to see if anything's out of place or anything's out of the ordinary.
Correct.
Okay. Let's talk, let me ask you, are range checks conducted through the night as well?
Yes.
And so even though because I assume 9:30, 9 o'clock, everyone's locked in their cell, right? No one's free to be out roaming. There's still range checks where people are just walking around. And is that just basically kind of looking through the window of the door?
Correct.
Again, no verbal contact. They don't have to stand up. They don't have to move a body part or anything like that.
Correct.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about commissary. That's a term I think we're going to hear about. What does commissary mean in the prison setting?
It's a form of money. Commissary, people also buy it to eat off of, but they'll also use it to trade and use it as a form of money to other individuals that have things that they want.
So when we're talking about commissary, are these items that can be purchased in the prison?
Correct.
Explain how that works, because most people probably are not aware of that.
So inmates have their own pretty much little grocery store that they can go to once every 2 weeks, to where they go and they'll buy chips, ramen noodles, pickles, food that they're able to make, to where if they didn't want to eat the meals that are provided to them, they can go back to their cell and make all their own food.
So they go
There's
to
a microwave in
Safeway.
every housing unit. But families are also able to order them food off of different vendors and send in. They get food boxes and stuff like that.
And that was going to be my next question. How's commissary obtained? Because
You
it's
know what, Scott?
who's putting money on people's books, or how does money get put on people's books so that they're able to purchase commissary? Because I assume it's not free just to go and pick out.
No, so it's money that families and friends put on their accounts.
Okay. Is commissary a pretty valuable commodity in prison?
Very much.
And do inmates sometimes fight and steal each other's commissary?
Yes.
Does that happen frequently?
Yes.
And can commissary be used to trade for certain items in prison?
Yes.
What types of items can be traded if you have commissary?
I mean, depending on the amount and what of the commissary it is, that people, they utilize it to go get drugs from other people. That's however they've gotten them in. They'll trade food for that. They'll trade food for pretty much anything you can.
Real quick, Scott sent me this in Discord, or posted it. So like the families of inmates can order, this really surprised me actually, like fast food kind of, and it's kind of like just probably the cost of like Grubhub. You can get like a double Angus bacon cheeseburger for $20, BLT for $18. The Meat Lovers pizza was only 8 inches, so it's probably not that big. But I was kind of surprised, like you can order the food. Oh yeah, but it's not this prison, but at the jail, I guess you can. So they have like different services and stuff like that here. So yeah, this menu is not for the prison they were at. So, but if you guys want to order Ogletree, a BLT, you can hook your boy up. Okay, where the hell was I?
Try to obtain GTL tablets, TVs, radios, all the stuff that they are allotted to have. If they're not able to get one, they broke theirs and they're on restriction or whatever, they'll go and give commissary for those types of items that they're not supposed to have at the moment.
So is commissary essentially just a form of currency in prison, just like you have money and you pay money for this or that? It can be traded just as if it were money?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You talked about one of the things that can be traded for is drugs. Some people might be surprised to hear that there are drugs in the prison.
Correct.
How is that a thing? How are drugs able to be had in the prison?
There's multiple avenues. No department's perfect. We've had dirty staff members bringing it in. We've had visitors bring it in. We also have contractors that are throughout the entire prison at all times, coming in, fixing certain areas of the prison or doing different programs, and all those different avenues give the ability of somebody to bring those in.
Another term that may get mentioned during the course of this trial is tune. Are you familiar with the terminology for tune?
Very.
What is, if you could explain to the jurors, what is tune?
I don't know the exact of the drug. I know what it does to the individual. I know it's some types of synthetic drug to my knowledge of what I've been explained to me. They normally vape it or inhale it, burn it off some type of paper or something like that. And it pretty much puts them out of their complete mind. Sometimes some people will be projectile puking. They'll be laying on the ground. Sometimes they've even had to be Narcaned. It's a very, very, very bad drug that's going through the prison system.
So let's go back to J Block in December of 2023. Were you familiar with an inmate? Because you were the bid officers. You were one of the officers that was in J Block every single day. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Were you familiar with an inmate by the name of Marquise Wetherington?
Yes, sir.
And how were you familiar with him?
Being a regular in a housing unit, you might not know everybody's name. You might not know everybody's face, but majority of those individuals, you know where they live. You know their ins and outs. And if they're acting a certain way, you pick up on that when you're working somewhere for so long.
Did Mr. Wetherington cause you any issues or problems?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. And he was housed in cell 2J3 in December of 2023?
Yes, sir.
If you could explain to the jurors, what do those numbers and letters mean when I say 2J3?
So the first number would be the range that they are on, and then you have the J, which would be J Block, which is the housing unit itself, and then the second letter would be the cell that they're in.
Okay. As far as you knew, was Mr. Wetherington having any issues with any other inmates in J Block?
Not to my knowledge.
Were you familiar with Mr. Wetherington's cellmate, Jason Addison?
Yes, sir.
How were you familiar with him?
Being in there, Mr. Addison had been in our institution for a decent amount of time.
And he was in J Block, obviously celled with Mr. Wetherington. Were you familiar with an inmate by the name of Anthony Cummings?
Yes, sir.
And how were you familiar with him?
Being in J Block, sir.
Okay, he was another inmate at that time that was housed in J Block.
Yes, sir.
And finally, were you familiar with an inmate by the name of James Ogletree?
Yes, sir.
Do you see that individual in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Could you point him out and describe what he's wearing?
He's wearing a blue button-up shirt.
Identifying the defendant.
We'll stipulate your honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. And how were you familiar with Mr. Ogletree?
Being that he was housed in Lebanon Correctional in J Block.
Okay, so in December of 2023, all of these individuals that we just talked about, Mr. Wetherington, Jason Addison, Mr. Cummings, and Mr. Ogletree, are all housed there in J Block at Lebanon Correctional.
Correct.
All right. Let's talk about the morning of December 7th of 2023. Does it start off as a typical morning?
Yeah, starts off typical.
Around what time do you start your shift that day?
I normally clocked in about 5:30, 5:45, somewhere around there, and I made it down to the block shortly after clocking in, after roll call was done, and we performed count at 6 o'clock.
Was anything out of ordinary at the time that you conducted count?
No, sir.
Okay. And then would there also have been a range check done at some point that morning?
Yes.
Anything out of ordinary that you saw at the time that the range check was conducted?
No, sir.
A little bit later, around 7 in the morning, did inmates start being released for breakfast and other activities?
Correct.
And at approximately 7:41 in the morning on December the 7th of 2023, are you alerted to an issue at Mr. Wetherington's cell in 2J3?
Yes, sir.
And how were you alerted?
An inmate had walked down range and said there was something wrong with the said offender.
So were you on the first range or second range?
First range.
So you're on the first range, and this offender that notifies you, was he on first range or second range?
Second range.
And what does he yell down to you?
He said that I believe there's something wrong with
Mr. Wetherington?
Wetherington. Yep.
When you get that information, what do you do?
Immediately report to that cell.
What's it like when you get to the cell?
There was a smell, very distinct smell. And as I went in there, I said the inmate's name and tapped the end of the bed. He didn't respond. So then I immediately called my partner, which had already been en route to where I was at. And when we got to the side of the bed, you could feel that he was cold. So we tried to roll him over to a side, and that's when medical emergency was called. And we tried to get him onto his back to be able to perform chest compressions.
So let me back up for a second. Let me ask you this. When you first responded to Mr. Wetherington's cell at 2J3, was his cellmate, Jason Addison, inside of the cell?
No,
Was there anybody inside of the cell other than Mr. Wetherington?
no, sir.
Okay. So you respond, you go inside of the cell and you see him, Mr. Wetherington is on the bottom bunk or the top bunk?
Top bunk.
Okay. You said you kind of tap at do you tap his foot or tap at the end of the bed?
Tapped at the end of the bed to kind of like shake it, to kind of like if he was asleep to wake him up or something to that nature.
Any response?
No, sir.
You indicated there was a smell.
Yes, sir.
What was the smell like?
Putrid, almost like something was the defecation almost.
And you said you called for the other CO at the time. What CO was that?
Officer Potts.
Okay. And he responds as well?
Correct.
You two then are able to kind of flip Mr. Wetherington over.
To a side, yes.
Describe for the jurors what you saw when you kind of were able to flip him a little bit to his side.
You could notice that there was a ton of blood all over the bed, and that he had some type of abrasion somewhere on his head, and that everything was stiff. His arms were stiff, his fingers were stiff. Nothing was able to move. That's what made it so difficult to roll him to his back.
Was he responsive at all?
No.
You indicated that you called a medical emergency.
Correct.
Could you explain to the jurors what does that mean in a prison setting when you call a medical emergency?
So in a prison setting, like we said, we've had what they call tune and everything like that with the medical emergencies. A medical emergency is when we need medical staff down there. And inmates either having a medical crisis or we have a situation like we had with Mr. Weatherby where he had sustained some injuries and he was not responsive. So they respond when we call that. Nursing staff and medical staff respond to the area that we're at.
Do they typically respond pretty quickly?
Yes, sir.
And what happened in this case when they responded? Where did you do and where did you go?
As medical came in, there was a supervisor at the time on the range told me to go because at this time we had other offenders coming back into the block. They had me go and lock down the rest of the housing unit. My medical staff attended to the offender.
What's the reason that you're locking down the rest of the housing unit?
To keep other individuals away from this situation that's at hand so they don't get in the way or something else doesn't transpire. Being that we are in a housing unit of multiple offenders that are in there for multiple different crimes. And we wanted to make sure everybody was separated in their cells so something else didn't transpire.
And so when the nurses respond and they start attempting to work on Mr. Wetherington, you're not in the cell at that point. You're trying to get everybody locked down.
Correct.
Okay. At some point, are you aware, do the EMTs arrive?
Correct.
And are you aware, while the EMTs are at the scene, that they pronounce Mr. Wetherington deceased?
Yes, sir.
Was Mr. Wetherington removed to the infirmary?
Yes, sir.
If you could explain to the jurors, what is an infirmary?
Our infirmary is pretty much our medical area to where like inmates that are insulin dependent or if they sustain an injury, we have a doctor down there during the day. We have all nursing staff, LPNs, and RNs that are down there that tend to any type of sick call, any type of wound care, any of that. That's our medical area to where they go and have exam rooms and stuff like that.
Sir, are you aware if after Mr. Wetherington's body was discovered, do prison investigators immediately begin reviewing surveillance footage to try to find the last time that Mr. Wetherington was seen alive?
Correct.
And are you involved in that process at all, sir?
Not really.
Anything about
Okay.
that. Sorry about that.
I think you did that last time we had a trial too.
That's true.
Something you said sets off.
That's
Is
funny.
it Alexa? Who is it? Sorry.
Siri.
Sorry.
That was the same witness, same like question set off the judge's phone last time as well. God.
Let me see. You're also not involved in interviewing any suspects or collecting evidence or anything like that. Is that right? That's all the job of the Ohio State Highway Patrol that gets called in?
Correct.
Okay. I want to show you a couple of exhibits, state's exhibits 1 through 4. You can take a look at those and first just tell me whether you recognize what you're looking at.
Wetherington, once we were able to get him to his back.
Hold on one second. You don't have to describe them all. Just are those all photographs of the scene on December 7th as you were there and witnessed it?
Yes, sir.
Do they all fairly and accurately depict the scene as you saw it on December 7th?
Yes, sir.
Permission to publish, Robert?
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Proceed.
I'm going to put state's exhibit number 1 on the screen. What are we looking at in state's exhibit number 1, please?
Mr. Wetherington, when he was finally rolled to his back.
Okay. So that's shortly after you're there in the cell, when you're able to get him to the side, that was the condition that you found him in?
Yes.
When you saw him, did you see any signs of life from Mr. Wetherington?
No, sir.
I want to direct your attention to state's exhibit number 2. What are we looking at in state's exhibit number 2, please?
One of our nursing staff performing life-saving techniques on offender Wetherington.
That's after he's been taken down from the top bunk in his cell, and now he's been taken and placed just out into the hallway of the second range.
Yes, sir.
And is it accurate? Do medical staff, when they're called to the nurses at the prison, have to perform life-saving measures, even if they suspect somebody is no longer alive, until the EMTs or someone pronounces the individual deceased?
Yes, sir.
Putting State's Exhibit number 3 on the screen. What are we looking at in this photograph, please?
Where he had been on the ground and they had moved him from the inside the cell to outside the cell to have more room.
And you can see that blood streak there. Did you believe, was that caused when he was initially placed down on the ground inside of the cell, and then when he was had to move to the outside of the cell? Is that what you believe the blood streak to be from?
Yes.
Oh, good. They gave him
Putting
oxygen.
State's Exhibit number 4 on the screen.
Whoa.
What are we looking at in this photograph?
Tormund
A
Giants.
picture
fan.
going inside the cell from what we would have saw doing a range check if it wasn't covered up with a blanket.
So this is cell 2J3.
Yes, sir.
And this is obviously after Mr. Wetherington's been removed. You indicated you saw a lot of blood. He was up on that top bunk.
Correct.
Is that CO Potts in the photograph?
Yes, sir.
I think the
Again, you're not responsible for collecting any evidence or anything like that.
CO probably asked to take a different picture after
I
that.
don't have any further questions, Your Honor.
Cross.
All right. Let's see what Wolfman does with this.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant. My name's Andrew Brenner. I represent Mr. Ogletree. So you indicated you've worked at Lebanon CI for 13 years, you said?
This November, yes, sir.
Okay. And it sounds like you've had multiple roles during that time.
Yes, sir.
How long were you working as a bid officer?
In J Block, I was in there approximately 2 years.
Okay, so a good amount of time, fair to say.
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you, Erica.
During your time in Lebanon Correctional, have you witnessed or been involved with investigating offenses of violence?
Investigating. Could you clarify that better for me, please?
I understand, right, it's not your job to actually complete the investigation, right? But as the bid officer, you are kind of the first person on the scene oftentimes. Is that fair to say?
Responding to an emergency, is that what you're
An
asking?
emergency, an issue that an inmate's having, right? For instance, you said the morning of December 7th, right? Somebody yells down and you run up and respond, right?
Yes, sir.
So is that kind of your typical role as the bid officer in that situation?
Being a officer in a housing unit, anything that goes on, you're going to be the initial. A fight happens or an inmate's having a medical issue or something like that. You're going to be the first one to make that initial, hey, we need additional staff down here, or we need medical staff. You'll be the person that responds to that area.
If you had to estimate, I know you don't have an exact count in front of you. How many times did you have to respond to some kind of an offensive violence, be that a fight, a homicide, serious injuries, minor injuries, what have you?
I wouldn't have those types of numbers, sir. We don't really keep track. It changes so differently with the seasons and what's going on inside the institution during that time frame. I would never have any type. That's something that's tracked way above me.
Okay. If you had to estimate, how long are your shifts typically?
During COVID years, it was 16-hour days most of the time because we were getting froze because of everything going on as an officer. During that time, that was 2023, near the tail end of all that. I mean, you're scheduled for 8, but it can't be up to 16.
Okay. Would you say that you responded to an offense of violence every shift?
I wouldn't say every shift, sir. I'd say majority of the time.
So it's fair to say there's a good amount of violence, fights happening at Lebanon CI.
I would say in prisons general, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hi, beautiful
Have you worked in
people.
any other
Thank you,
facility?
Erica.
No, sir.
Okay.
Fee.
In your experience, majority of shifts, there's some kind of an issue with violence between inmates.
I wouldn't always say violence, sir. It could be just a regular dispute.
I got you. Like an argument or what have you.
Yeah.
An issue between cellmates or something like that.
Yes, sir.
I got you. But fair to say, in your duties as a bid officer, you were regularly responding to the aftermath of some kind of a dispute or a fight, or even more significant than a fight.
Majority of the time.
Okay. Had you responded to a suspected homicide before December 7, 2023?
I did not respond, but I was there the day something like that had happened. Yes, sir.
So it has happened before.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in your duties as a bid officer, basically you're just kind of keeping an eye on the range. As you said, if an issue happens, you are then calling for backup or calling for medical or calling for someone else to help out.
Yes, sir. You're maintaining the safety and security of that housing unit, meaning that you are working that post for the ship.
Okay. So on that morning of December the 7th, do you know who called down and said, hey, we have a problem, you need to come check this out?
I don't know off the top of my head, sir. It's been too long to remember what that individual's name was.
Understood. So in a couple of states exhibits, we kind of could see inside of the cell, right? What are the dimensions to a cell at Lebanon Correctional Institution?
I'm not for sure, sir. I don't know off the top of my head.
And it looks like if we're looking at those exhibits, right, we've got beds kind of in a bunk set up, right? There's a toilet in there. There's a sink. What else is in that cell?
It all depends on the cell, sir.
Okay.
Some have shelving units, some don't have shelving units. And I think at that time we still had the locker boxes. So some have locker boxes, some don't have locker boxes. It all varies depending on what housing unit you're in and the cell.
Okay. So when you say locker boxes, is that like for the inmates' personal possessions?
Mhm.
Okay. And shelves, is that something the inmates put up themselves, or is just some cells have shelves in them and some don't?
Yes, sir.
Is it something that the inmates choose, or is it just kind of like
Just some of the cells do, sir.
understood? Okay. That particular cell, did that have shelves in it to your recollection?
I can't remember if it did or not, sir, off the top of my head.
How much, obviously you don't have a tape measure, right? But how much room is in between the bed and the opposite wall? So it looked like the beds were pushed up against the wall. I mean, how much room is there if you're standing next to the bed? And is it as wide as the podium where you're sitting, would you estimate?
Hello, there's the defendant. David, thank you, I think. Sorry, Salvador is the Wish version of a trial streamer. Yes. The humiliation continues. Thank you, David.
I'd say it'd be close to that distance.
Okay. So you had mentioned that when you responded and medical responded to Weatherington with some of the attempted life-saving measures, that you actually pulled him out of the cell for more room. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so it's fair to say if you get a couple of people in a cell, it's a pretty tight fit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you had mentioned the rounds. And so it sounds like those kind of take place every couple hours overnight to make sure everybody's where they're supposed to be.
Every 30 minutes, not consecutively staggered.
Okay. Kind of throughout the night, you're kind of in a continuous process of checking all these cells. Okay. And you had said that you need to see some form of skin, not just like a pile of blankets.
Correct, sir.
Okay. Do you have like a flashlight? You're kind of shining in there, or you're just kind of looking in?
Yes. Yes. Either you could use a flashlight, the light on your phone, some type of light. And then some also housing units don't even have to have a light because of the outside lights that shine in through the window. You're able to see inside the cell and be able to see. Some inmates even sleep with their lights on.
So I know it's been a while, but J Block back in December of 2023, do you have any remembrance of whether that was one where you needed a flashlight or didn't need a flashlight?
Not off the top of my head, sir.
Okay. And so you clocked into work. You said you arrived 5:45 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Had you worked the day before too? Do you remember?
Do we know what the day is? December?
It would have been December the 6th, 2023 would have been.
Do we know what day that is? Like a Monday, Tuesday?
I don't write off. I apologize.
So that's what makes it difficult for me to answer, sir, because I can't tell you what day that would be.
Understood. What are your typical days of?
My days off when I was an officer was Friday, Saturdays off, and I took some Sundays off too. But my regular days were Fridays and Saturdays off.
Okay. So it's fair to say that since you arrived that morning, you weren't the individual that was performing checks the night before.
No, sir.
Okay. Did I hear you mention something about a towel or a blanket in front of the window?
No.
Okay. So the cells themselves, like the door, is that like sealed shut, or what's the format of that, of the door to the cells themselves?
As in, like, do they secure? Is that what you're asking?
Well, so we know they shut, right? And it looks, my understanding is that they kind of slide sideways, like a sliding door almost.
Yeah, they're on a track, but it has like a locking mechanism up in top to where once they are secured, they're locked.
Okay. is there a gap in between like the wall and where the door itself actually is? Is what I'm asking is the door to the cell, when the door is shut, is it flush against the wall, or is there a gap that you can speak to someone through?
There's like you have like
moving
a sliding
around.
door, and then you have a frame.
Yeah.
Like on the back side, you're talking like on the back side of the door?
Yes.
Or are you talking about where it meets to the locking mechanism?
Either or both.
On the back side, there might be a slit. It all depends on like the like if it's in a segregation unit or in a general population, what the general population. Some of them, the gaps differ because we are in like an older prison. So as stuff deteriorates and expands, the gaps might be a little bit smaller if that's what you're asking about.
But there is at least to your remembrance, there's a small gap.
Yeah, I think so on the back side.
Okay. So if you're standing out on the range,
I
Are
need
you
the
able
number
to-
one crown. Thank you.
like even if you have to yell, are you able to hear if someone's inside of the cell? Are you able to talk with them?
If the
Thank
day
you,
room is out
Erica.
and there's movement going on, not normally, sir.
Fair to say, I mean, if there's a lot of people milling around, it's going to be pretty noisy,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, people are doing everything from listening to music, watching TV, hanging out, right, talking, whatever.
Yes, sir.
But there is a gap.
Yes, sir.
And you had indicated that you were at least somewhat familiar with all of Wetherington, Cummings, Addison, and Ogletree.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long had they been? If you can remember, had they been there for any extended period of time, or was it just like, hey, he was new? Or
To be honest with you, sir, people come in and out. Some stay for a while. Some are there for a short period of time because they either get their level dropped or they go to a new prison because they've done something to get their level raised. So to say when what said person came in, I think at that time Lebanon Correctional was holding 1,800 inmates. So to say when they came in and when they were leaving would be very difficult to keep track of.
understood. How many, if you had to estimate, how
Thank
many
you,
were on
Erica.
jail?
At that time, I can't, like I said, like when we were being asked earlier, if we had the third tier, I can't remember when we shut down our third tier. But if we had just the two ranges, the maximum we would be able to have would be 100 inmates on range 2 and 92 on range 1. So a total of 192 maximum because cell 1 and cell 48, one was used for like the officers put their lunches in there and stuff like that. And then cell 1 was I believe at that time we still had the JPay, so they go use the JPay machine in there to be able to read their emails and read their send out kites or informals. So only 92 on range 1 and 100 on range 2.
You said kites or informals.
Mhm.
What is that?
Kites and informals are a way for an offender to communicate with individuals that are not in their housing units. So like if they need to kite the major or kite the inspector or the investigator, they're able to communicate with them without that person actually being in the housing unit.
Okay. And we saw some of this during opening, but there are surveillance cameras on J Block, right?
Yes, sir.
And are there surveillance cameras in every housing unit in Lebanon CI, to your understanding?
Yes, sir.
Where are those cameras located?
On the ranges throughout the entire block. I mean, they're on the bottom part of, if you're on range 2, there's some that are on the bottom part of the range of range 3 that comes down. It's facing downward the range, or some on the back wall that's facing down range. I mean, there's some that's on the facing part of a range. I mean, they're all throughout the entire housing unit.
Okay. So they all kind of face down. Like
Down or back. So they face both directions.
People arguing about who gets a crown in Salvador's chat is like two pigeons arguing over who gets to shit on the park bench. Thank you, David, I think.
Oops.
Okay. Are there any specific cameras in any of the kind of specialized rooms that you'd mentioned? Like the phone room or you said the JPEG room? Are there cameras in these rooms?
At that time, I don't know if there was any in there. I know as we speak today, we do have them in the stairwells and in the GTL rooms, but I don't believe there is any in the phone rooms.
In the GTL rooms, what is that?
GTL is what, like I said before, it was what the JPay rooms was. GTL now that is the new tablets that all the offenders have, that they're able to have FaceTime visits with their families. They're able to like message their families, and they have to have like I think it's like a magnet or something. There's something inside the tablet that once you put it on like the little shelving unit, it butts up and they're able to have connection to be able to FaceTime their families that have the app that they download.
So they're supposed to use those in that designated room?
Correct.
Okay. Could I have just one moment, Brian?
Jeez, Erica, thank you. Me, David, I get a shit on the bench. I called it.
Sure, skip forward.
I love you guys.
Are there gangs in Lebanon Correctional?
Yes, sir.
If you had to estimate, how many?
So,
There's so many. I mean, you everybody that watches TV, that watches this, are like they think just the generalized Bloods, Crips, Aryan Brotherhood, and stuff like that. But there's so many different sets. To set a number, that would be a question you would need to ask like a specialized like coordinator of the SCG coordinators and stuff like that, because the Crips could be, you have multiple different sets of Crips, multiple different sets of Bloods, multiple white supremacist groups, multiple just other gangs that aren't even based on race. They're based on what city they're from or what.
that's nice.
Are most,
Diverse.
in your experience, are most of the
diversity.
inmates in Lebanon CI in some kind of a gang?
I wouldn't say most.
Okay, but there's fair to say there's so many gangs you don't even know them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, I know about them all. I've been in
Can
jail.
these gangs, can that be a source of violence in your experience?
Yeah, I mean, in anything, you got two different groups that don't like each other. They're going to have disagreements, or when they're trying to control something, when it comes to like money or any of that type of nature, they'll get in spats about that.
Sure. In your experience as a bait officer in other capacities at Lebanon CI, do inmates tend to be cooperative with the guards when you're asking questions or you're trying to follow up on something?
It all depends on the individual.
Okay.
It's very individually based. Some individuals will be very respectful and come in, and if there's a question that is asked, they will respectfully be like, hey, I can't speak on that, or they'll go into detail what they can talk about.
And other individuals won't cooperate.
Correct.
You ever received any kind of indication of why someone might not cooperate?
I would like, as in like what, sir? Could you?
Well, I mean, in your experience, 13 years at Lebanon CI, right? Has anyone ever said to you, I can't tell you what happened, it'll get me in trouble? Something like that.
In the sense of like, yeah, from them like stealing something or whatever, or one of their friends had stole something, and if they told on them, then they would be in trouble for telling and snitching.
For snitching?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's a negative connotation around snitching in the prison, is it fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know what kind of consequences might someone face for being a snitch?
Prison politics, I don't really get involved in, sir. So like with individuals that, like what an inmate would do to another inmate for stealing, that would be something way above me that I would not know of.
Okay, so you mentioned prison politics. It's fair to say that in your experience, does that kind of govern a lot of inmate behavior?
In some sense, I could probably say yes, but in another sense, no. And the simple fact of is we don't allow it. So like, it's not like something of being like where an inmate gets in trouble, that it's just allowed for the inmates to handle it. We don't let that stuff.
Sure. So it's
Prison
fair to say
politics
it's
is still more
discouraged
honorable than
or,
actual
not
politics.
permitted, but it does happen.
Without us knowing, yes, sir.
Your Honor, I don't have any further questions.
Redirect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Corrections Officer Lay, please reduce them to writing. You have those index cards. Remember, do not put any identifying information on the card. Everyone must turn in a card. If you don't have any questions, but none or no questions, do not discuss or display any proposed question with any other member of the jury.
Oh God, David, that's what Mavka has been saying for the last 2 weeks. And he kind of has a point, because like these are just ordinary people. Just ordinary people. I mean, is it really a jury of your peers? I like when the jury can ask questions. Yeah, Ohio does it. Few states, I think more are doing it than before, but it's kind of a slow transition. Normies don't understand prison life. Well, you and the person who left me a very angry comment both agree on that aspect. I do not understand prison life.
The jury have a number of questions, and I'm going to read them. You'll answer them. The attorneys may have follow-up questions.
Yes, sir.
How did Corrections Officer miss multiple checks after the victim was murdered?
Oh. What a base juror.
Multiple checks were, I'm not aware of that at all. Multiple checks being missed.
How did corrections miss multiple checks after the victim was murdered? I'm not going to interpret it. I'll let the attorneys do that if they wish to.
Yeah, that could be it.
Judge is like, you know what this means, sir. How the hell are you guys so incompetent you couldn't find a dead guy there?
Interpreted to me. I'd appreciate it.
Well, can you answer? Can you give me an answer to this question?
I was
Check.
multiple checks being missed.
How did corrections miss multiple checks after the victim was murdered? I'm not going to interpret it. I'll let the attorneys do that if they wish to.
Yeah, that could be interpreted to me. I'd appreciate it.
Well, can you answer? Can you give me an answer to this question?
I was not aware of any checks being missed.
In your opinion, why did it take so long to find the dead inmate?
Being that where the way that the cell was, presumably there was no blood anywhere other than what was covered up that was cleaned up. So looking into the cell and it not be, since it happened after standing count, if we would have been made to wake up every inmate every single time we did a count, an offender wouldn't sleep all night because we're doing it every 2 hours at nighttime. So we're not made to wake the individual up, each individual up every time we do a range check. So as long as we're seeing a body part when we go around to do those counts, that's why it took so long. From if the individual's like, hey, something happened to my cellie, then we'd be made aware and we would acted on it. But it wasn't something that like it was ignored or any of those natures. It was that the cell was cleaned up and that it was after a standing count to where the individual would have been made to stand up. He wasn't able to stand up, so we would went into the cell to see what was going on.
Are the range cameras actively monitored during daytime or when the inmates are free to roam?
The cameras are on at all times, 24/7.
The question is, are they actively monitored?
There's not an individual sitting and watching cameras all day. No.
If you are not allowed in other cells,
Why is the jury doing the job of the defense attorney here? They're grilling this guy. And yeah, okay, Teep was a defense attorney, so yeah, he's probably getting annoyed at this. And wow. This guy is being so obtuse.
when that was seen on camera, were they approved at that time?
No.
Mr. Weatherington is shown with his pants on. It was presented that the white pants were off. Was he found naked?
No.
Who moved him to the top bunk?
To my knowledge, it was the individuals that were in the cell that that he had gotten into the altercation with.
His inmate, Mr. Addison, didn't see him.
I did not have any conversations with Mr. Addison, so I'm not how all that went about him not seeing him or what was going on with Mr. Addison inside the cell.
All right, any questions based on the jury's questions?
Yes, Your Honor. So I just want to make sure with respect to, because I think you answered this, but so Mr. Weatherington would have on December 6th, he was found on December 7th that morning. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So on December 6th at 4:00 p.m., he would have had a standing count at some point. He would have had to stand up and an officer would have had to have seen that he was standing and was okay.
Yes, sir.
Anytime though, after 4:00, if I'm understanding your testimony correctly, anytime after 4:00, if he is laying in his bed and you can see a foot or anything hanging outside of the bed, is a corrections officer required to make contact, get verbal contact, have the individual get up or move or anything like that once we're past that 4:00 standing count?
No, sir. Not until the next 4 p.m. Next 4 p.m. count.
Okay, nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Brenner?
Just actually, Your Honor, no, I don't have anything.
I'm sorry, you may step down, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. We'll say 15 minutes. It's 2:30. So remember my prior instructions: do not discuss or discuss a case with each other, or allow anyone to discuss it with you in your presence. In that bottom drawer on the right. Find. Now over to your right. Oh.
See,
Kind of just for planning purposes, how late are you willing to go tonight?
4:30.
Is he doing sign language or gain signs? Or conducting an orchestra?
After we, this was after we broke.
Yeah.
a juror handed Justin a card that says, does being in a place and not doing something make someone complicit? So I can handle this a number of ways. I'm thinking that I probably ought to maybe either not address it right now at all, or tell them that they have to wait for the instructions of law at the end of the case.
But I think my thought, Your Honors, let's wait till the instructions at the end of the case and not address it at all right now. I think we can argue about that. I would anticipate that being a big part of our.
So one juror, at least, is already thinking that what if he was just there but didn't do anything? Wow.
Closing arguments at the close of everything.
Ignore it? Yep. Okay. Bring him.
She's right here.
Is it after this?
We've already given them a heads
All
up.
right. That's all I mentioned.
I'll probably do that.
Elastics. Number.
I don't have any clue what it is.
Like the Bermuda Triangle of courtrooms.
Thank you. Please be seated. Call your next witness.
State we call Jennifer Capanary.
You raise your right hand. You swear from the testimony you give the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
See water to eat it, that's touch.
May I proceed?
Please.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name, spelling your last name for the record?
Jennifer Capanary, Capanari.
And where are you currently employed?
Lebanon Correctional Institution,
In what capacity?
registered nurse.
How long have you been a registered nurse?
Going on 30 years,
And how long have you
I have
been a registered nurse at Lebanon Correctional Institution?
25 years.
Thank you.
What are
David.
your job duties and responsibilities as a registered nurse at Lebanon Correctional?
Pass medications, respond to emergencies, work with the doctor, nursing call.
So all the typical nursing duties just
Yes.
in a correctional setting.
Yes,
I have some questions
and you
about
said you respond to
Salvador's
medical
sexuality.
emergencies that happen within the prison.
yes.
What does that medical emergency response look like?
Usually it's called over the radio, just medical emergency, A block, whatever block. And we take emergency equipment, stretcher, stair chair. 2 nurses respond to those.
How long do you have to respond to a medical emergency?
4 minutes.
And what are some examples of medical emergencies that you respond to?
Injuries on the yard, chest pain, shortness of breath, intoxicated, sometimes unresponsive inmates.
And is it fair to say that some people, when they are sick or injured, will come to the infirmary and will come to you?
Yes,
And sometimes if someone is not able to come on their own, you will respond to them.
yes,
And so fair to say the medical emergencies that you respond out to could be anything from a heart attack to a violent assault
correct.
and everything in between.
Yes.
I want to turn your attention to the morning of December 7th of 2023. What shift would you have been working that day?
First shift,
And what time is first shift?
6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And were you called to a medical emergency on the morning of December 7th, 2023 in J Block?
Yes,
And you said 2 nurses typically respond in a medical emergency.
correct.
Did 2 nurses respond that morning on December 7th?
Yes.
And what equipment did you respond with that morning?
Stretcher, stair chair. The stretcher has this emergency bag, AED, oxygen.
And what do you observe as you arrive to the second range of J Block? Where is the victim located?
He's located in his cell on the, I believe, top bunk.
And was that victim identified as Marquise Weatherington?
Yes,
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked and identified as State's Exhibit 1 and ask you if you recognize this photo. May I approach her?
Yes.
Do you recognize that photograph?
yes,
And is that a fair and accurate representation of what you observed on the morning of December 7th?
yes.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
So this is State's Exhibit 1. What are we looking at in State's Exhibit 1?
Mr. Wetherington, as he appeared when I got to the site.
So this is the position he was in when you arrived in the cell.
Yes.
And what is the first thing you do when you arrive and observe Mr. Wetherington?
We would check for pulse and breathing, which was not.
Were there any signs of life apparent when you arrived? No. Did you place an AED on the victim?
Yes.
What is an AED?
Automatic external defibrillator.
What does it do?
It analyzes the heart rhythm and potentially can shock the person and bring back a normal rhythm if it's certain arrhythmias.
Okay. Did you place the AED on the victim, Mr. Wetherington, while he was still on his rack?
Yes, I believe so.
And what, if anything, did the AED advise?
No shocks were advised. So there was nothing to shock.
What other observations did you make about the victim as you were placing the AED and waiting for it to advise?
Just no signs of life, and he was cool to touch.
Based on your training and experience, what is that indicative of?
He appeared deceased.
Are you, as a registered nurse at Lebanon Correctional, are you able to make the determination that he is
No.
deceased?
No.
Are you required to attempt life-saving measures until EMS arrives?
Yes.
Was EMS called on the morning of December 7th?
Yes.
And with his position on the top rack, is that very conducive to performing
No,
life-saving
no,
measures?
No, the officers got him down and we initiated compressions.
Okay, so he was placed on the floor?
Yes.
And initially, was he placed on the floor in the cell?
Yes.
And that wasn't really.
Right. Yeah. At a certain point, we moved out to the range just to have room to work.
Okay, I'm going to show you what's been marked and identified as State's Exhibit 2 and ask you if you recognize what's in that photograph.
That is myself doing compressions and Nurse Quincy bagging.
Okay, and is that a fair and accurate representation of what was occurring on December 7th?
Yes.
So this is you here,
Yes.
and you're giving chest compressions at this time, correct?
Correct.
And you said Nurse Quincy, is she who responded with you that morning?
Yes.
And she's the one with the bag?
Yes.
And at some point, did emergency personnel from the Turtle Creek Township Fire Department arrive?
Yes.
Did you provide them with any information so that they could make their assessments?
Just that we had responded. He had no signs of life and there was no shocks indicated during the time that we were during resuscitation efforts.
Okay. If I can have just one moment, Aaron. I have no further questions.
Frost?
Briefly, Your Honor, thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Andrew Brenner. I represent the defendant. I just have a couple of questions for you. So you had said that you've been an RN at Lebanon Correctional for 25 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And did I hear you say that you have 4 minutes to respond to a call for medical emergency?
Yes.
In your 25 years, and I know you're not going to have an exact number in front of you, how many times would you say you've responded to the aftermath of some act of violence in Lebanon Correctional?
Let's see. Probably maybe once a month. Generally, they're chest pains, things like that.
Okay. But you regularly work first shift?
Yes.
Okay. So it's once a month or so, you are
Yeah.
responding to
Yeah.
some kind of injury.
As an emergency, there's a lot that are brought to us for fights. So
Okay.
just emergencies, maybe once a month.
And an emergency is when you're actually called out to the cell.
Right.
Okay. And so once a month that's happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
How often have you responded to a deceased individual like with Mr. Wetherington?
Probably 10 times.
Okay. So it's fair to say that violence and even homicides are not unheard of in this facility.
Correct.
What kind of injuries do you typically see resulting from fights or incidents or
Most commonly broken jaws, broken hands, head injuries, concussions, things like that. But
and you indicated that you performed chest compressions on Mr. Wetherington.
correct.
Do you know for approximately how long?
Maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Ish.
Your Honor, I don't have any further questions.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Nurse Capanary at this time, please reduce them to writing. Do not discuss or display any proposed question with any other member of the jury. Everyone must turn in a card.
Let's see what they asked.
Ms. Capanary. All right, Ms. Capanary, the members of the jury have a few questions, and I'll read them. You'll answer them. The attorneys may have some follow-up. Okay? Was there blood dripping from the bed or other visible blood before the body was moved to the range?
Not that I saw.
In your opinion, what did you think was the cause of injuries you observed?
He appeared to have head injuries. After we completed the care, he had some injuries to his head.
Were Mr. Wetherington's pants on or off when you responded?
I believe on, but I'm not 100%. I believe on.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions?
No, you don't know.
Excuse. Thank you. Next witness, please.
State would call Cory Girdman.
Cory Girdman. Oh, that woman in the back must be the victim advocate.
The truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So, God.
Sure.
Water if you needed this.
May I proceed?
Please.
Please state your name, spelling your last name for the record.
Cory Girdman, last name Gerdeman.
Oh, this nerd.
And where are you currently employed?
I'm Captain for Turtle Creek Township Fire Department.
And are you a firefighter paramedic?
I am.
How long have you been with the Turtle Creek Township Fire Department?
Well over 3 years.
And can you give the jury a brief explanation of the training that you have that qualifies you to be a firefighter paramedic?
Sure. So as a level 2 firefighter, which is required for our department, that's a minimum of 240 hours of hands-on and classroom training with a requirement for so many continuing education hours every 3 years in between our license renewals. Paramedic is a 1.5 to a 2-year program, depending on which school you go to. Requires a couple thousand hours of lecture, hands-on and field clinical training, as well as 97 hours of continuing education in between each license renewal window.
So you mentioned license renewals. You have licensure as both a firefighter and a paramedic.
That's correct.
And you have continuing education requirements for both to maintain those licenses.
That's correct.
And you are currently licensed and current in all of your continuing education, correct?
I am.
What are your duties as a firefighter and paramedic for Turtle Creek Township?
For the fire side, fire suppression and rescue activities as needed for whichever call goes out. As far as the paramedic and the EMS side, it's treating sick and injured patients of all ages, whether it be a medical or trauma case, and any care they require while being transported to the closest appropriate hospital.
What would you say the breakdown is in your job of how often you're doing your firefighting duties and how often you're doing your paramedic duties?
Our breakdown is approximately 20% fire-related calls, 80% EMS-related calls.
And there are 2 prisons located within Warren County. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do they both fall within the Turtle Creek Township Fire Department jurisdiction?
They do.
And how often do you respond to the prison?
We average about 140 calls to both of the prisons per year.
And what are those? What's the nature of the dispatches for those calls?
It varies wildly from traumatic injuries to medical events such as chest pain, heart attacks, regular slips and falls, medical calls such as abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, things of that nature.
So it could run the gamut from somebody needing to go to the ER because they don't feel well to somebody's unresponsive after a brutal assault.
Correct.
I want to turn your attention to the morning of December 7th of 2023. Were you working that morning?
I was.
And what was your shift that day?
My shift started at 6 a.m. and concluded 6 a.m. the following day.
So you were at the start of a 24-hour shift.
Correct.
And did you receive a dispatch to Lebanon Correctional Institution on the morning of December 7th?
We did.
Do you recall approximately what time that dispatch came in?
I cannot recall an exact time. I believe it was somewhere around 8 a.m. that morning.
So shortly after, not too long after your shift had started.
Correct.
And what's your response time to the prison when you get dispatched?
Our average response time is between 4 and 7 minutes, depending on traffic and other factors.
Where is your station located?
It's on Route 741, about 2 miles north of Route 63, which is the state route that the prisons are on.
And what information did you receive through dispatch on the morning of December 7th about what you were responding for?
Information we received from dispatch was minimal. I believe it was for a unconscious person or unresponsive person.
Now, when you respond to the prison, are you typically responding to the infirmary to pick someone up? How does that normally work if you're going for, let's say, someone who's having chest pains? Where do you pick them up at?
The majority of our calls, we respond to the infirmary where their medical staff is taking care of the patient.
Where did you respond on the morning of December 7th?
That morning, we were advised to go to the cell blocks where the patient was still located.
And what does that indicate to you based on your experience?
And the calls there, if the patient's still in the cell block, that means their condition is so critical that their medical staff and officers have not been able to move them from their cell to the infirmary.
What is the process that you go through when you enter the prison? I imagine it's a little more difficult than just walking in the front door.
Yes, we go inside, meet with the front desk staff, and then we have to be escorted by a corrections officer through their entryway and their gate procedures, and then get escorted the entire way to where the patient is located.
And when you're going through doors at a prison, only one door opens at a time. Is that correct?
Correct.
So it is a somewhat slow process once you get in.
It is slower than entering a regular residential house, yes.
So when you arrive to the cell block and begin your evaluation of the victim, what do you observe as you arrive at the cell block?
So we arrived at the wing that the patient was located. We were escorted up to the second floor catwalk where we could see the patient had been pulled out of the cell and their medical staff was attempting to provide aid.
And was that patient identified as Marquise Weatherington?
Yes.
What information are you provided by Lebanon Correctional Medical staff when you arrive?
We were told that morning they had found the patient unresponsive in his bunk. They attempted to remove him from his bunk and get him on the floor to further assess him, found that he was not breathing, had no heart rate, and then tried to move him out of the cell. That way they could begin care, including CPR.
Was an AED present on Mr. Weatherington when you observed him?
There was.
What is an AED?
AED is an automated external defibrillator.
And what does it do?
So that is designed to take a disorganized electrical rhythm of the heart and deliver an electric shock to turn that back into an organized electrical rhythm.
Will it shock if there is no rhythm in the heart?
If there is no electric activity, it will not advise a shock.
So it doesn't try to start something which has stopped. It just tries to fix something that's not beating correctly.
Correct.
What observations did you make about Mr. Weatherington when you observed him?
When I first approached the patient, I saw they had been doing CPR. They had the AED attached. The patient had a large amount of blood, both dried and still liquid, on him, as well as the floor behind him. He was also noted to have some injuries to his head and face on the side of his head. Also noticed that his fingers and lips appeared to be blue in color or cyanotic, indicating that the patient was hypoxic or had a lack of oxygen in the circulating blood. And also noticed that there appeared to be signs of blood pooling, called dependent lividity of the patient, indicating that he had not had a circulating blood volume for some time.
What observations do you make of the area around the victim and what you can see in the cell?
I briefly looked into the cell just to get a glimpse of the surroundings. I could see what appeared to be blood on the railing of the bed where they said the patient was found, as well as on the floor, appearing to be where they moved the patient away from the beds into the catwalk.
Do you do your own check for signs of life?
We do. I approached the patient as they were giving me the brief history of the things that they had done. When I felt the patient, he was cold to the touch. Limbs also appeared to have become stiff, also indicating an extended period of time without a heartbeat.
Based on your training and experience and your assessment of Mr. Weatherington on the morning of December 7th, was there any aid that you could provide?
Unfortunately, there was no aid that we could provide due to the signs of an extended amount of time of being without a heartbeat.
And so what did you do based on all of your observations and that opinion?
Once we did our checks, and according to our protocols, I got all the pertinent medical information from the facility medical staff. I called our dispatch center to get the current time and designated that as the patient's time of death.
And was that 8:00 a.m.?
Approximately, yes.
Once a patient is declared deceased, what do you do? Do you transport them anywhere?
We do not transport them anywhere if we have a pronunciation of death on scene. In this case, the patient was left within the custody of Lebanon Correctional Facility. We help with their information gathering as much as we can. If they have to take any statements from us, things of that nature, as well as anything else we can do with the medical staff. On occasion, we will help them move the patient from where they are in the cell block to get them in a spot that's easier for them to move them to their morgue. This time we were not asked to do that. They had enough personnel where they could effectively do that.
If I could have just one more. I have no further questions.
Boss. Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Captain. My name's Girdman. I represent the defendant. I just have a couple of questions for you. So I believe I heard you say you have roughly on average 140 calls to both prisons.
Correct.
So that's not 140 for Lebanon and 140 for Warren. That's 140 total.
For both combined, yes.
What does that breakdown look like? Is it like 50-50 or more at Lebanon, more at Warren?
I can't comment on every year specifically, only because I actually just had to complete an audit of prison runs. In 2024, it was almost exactly split. It was 75 at one location, 73 at another.
Okay.
So
That's more than once a week.
correct.
And so fair to say, have you personally responded to one of those prisons previously?
Prior to this event?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
Okay. And have you responded to incidents of violence at either facility previously?
That have been reported as violence, yes.
Okay. And have those been like emergency calls like this one where you go directly to the cell, or were those where you respond to the infirmary?
I have had both cases to where the patient was able to be moved to the infirmary prior to our arrival, and others that required us to go to the cell.
Okay. So I believe you said, according to your recently completed audit in 2024, there was 75 at one facility, 73 at another. I believe you responded to Ms. Nicholson that some are, kind of more typical medical emergencies like chest pains or more ordinary medical emergencies, and others are as a result of trauma or violence.
Correct.
Of the 75 calls or so in 2024, what does that breakdown look like? How many were responses for violence? How many were responses for more anodyne, run-of-the-mill medical emergencies?
I don't have that exact metric. It wasn't part of the audit, but I can tell you that the calls for significant bodily trauma are significantly less than general medical calls.
But you and your department have responded to traumatic violence, the aftermath previously.
We have, yes.
So it's fair to say that there is violence happening at these facilities.
There is. I would not call it a common occurrence based on the times that we've had to respond to it, but it has occurred.
Okay, very well. Your Honor, no further questions.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Captain Girdman, please reduce them to writing. Do not discuss or display any proposed question with any other member of the jury. Everyone turns in a card.
So we got about 40-ish minutes to go today.
All right, Captain. All right, Captain, the members of the jury, looks like there's just one question. I'll read it. The attorneys may have some follow-up. Okay? How long does it take for the signs that you saw to appear?
Just referencing the signs of an extended period without a heartbeat. That's my understanding.
That's what I understand.
Yes. That number can vary depending on the patient's location, their environment, and things of that nature. With the rigor mortis, which is the stiffening of the extremities, as well as the dependent lividity, generally that's in the hours time frame. But again, I unfortunately cannot give an exact number, as that's outside of our protocols to give a number, and the varying environmental factors that can change that exact time.
Any questions based on the jury question?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. All right, Captain, you may step down. Thank you.
Hey, great.
Call your next witness.
State Paul Sha Keem.
This guy's the most generic cop voice ever. Yes.
That's right. No. That's right. That's right.
Me.
Jeff, you kind of raise your right hand for me. Swear from the testimony given these proceedings to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So, can I have a seat? Just water. Just a touch.
Aw.
Proceed.
Sir, would you please state your name, spell your last name for the record?
Sha Keem. Last name is spelled AHQKEEM.
Sha Keem, will you try to keep your voice up as loud as possible so the juror all the way in the back can hear you, okay? I know it's hard when you're in a courtroom this big.
Yeah.
Mr. Hakeem, you're obviously in prison, is that correct?
Yes.
What are you in prison for?
Felonious assault and identity theft.
Okay. And those were for convictions back in 2021?
2020.
Okay. What prison are you currently located at?
Ross.
Ross Correctional? Are you in an honors facility at Ross Correctional?
Yeah, on what you consider honor block.
On the
Yeah.
honor block?
Yeah.
Could you explain to the jurors what does it mean to be on the honor block?
Stayed out of trouble for a certain amount of time, and yeah, just didn't get any tickets, so moved me over there, and I'm in programs, things like that.
Mr. Keem, I need you to keep your voice up, Cory, please.
I want to talk to you about an incident that happened back at Lebanon Correctional Institution in December of 2023. Were you housed in Lebanon at that time?
Yes.
And do you recall what block you were housed in December of 2023?
J. John.
During that time that you were housed in J. John, did you have any special jobs or assignments?
I was a school tutor and school porter.
Okay. Could you explain to the jurors, what does it mean to be a porter?
Clean the whole school area.
Okay, so as a porter, you cleaned the school area?
Mhm.
And then you indicated you were also a tutor?
Mhm.
And what does that consist of?
Trying to help people get their GED and other academic things.
Okay. During that time period, were you familiar with an inmate by the name of Marquise Wetherington?
Yeah.
Did you know him from J Block?
Yes.
Okay. And were you familiar with an individual by the name of Anthony Cummings?
Yes.
And they have his shirt size written on the outside of it. I mean, geez.
And how were you familiar with him?
Hey,
I
Schneevel.
knew him like in school and stuff like that.
Okay. Was he also in J Block with you?
Yeah.
And then were you also familiar with an individual by the name of James Ogletree?
Not really, but we were just on the same block together.
Okay. So you knew there was a person, James Ogletree, on the same block in J Block. Is that right? Okay. I want to direct your attention to the evening of December 6, 2023, around 7 p.m. Do you recall what you were doing around that time period?
Passing out pictures from graduation.
And you say passing out pictures from graduation. What type of graduation at the prison?
People had got their GED and culinary school things, and we had a
Culinary
ceremony,
school.
and they never came and got their pictures, so I had them and I passed them out to people that were on the block, same block as me.
Okay. And were you up on the second range on the second floor?
Yes.
That evening, a little after 7 p.m., was your attention drawn to Marquise Wetherington's cell?
Yes.
And what drew your attention to the cell at that time?
Just the noise and stuff like that. And I was looking for somebody to pass a picture to.
Okay. And so you could hear noise from coming inside of Mr. Wetherington's cell?
Yeah.
What did it sound like?
A rack screeching and like shoes sliding against the floor.
When you heard that, did you look inside?
Briefly, yeah.
Okay. Tell the jurors exactly what you saw when you looked inside.
I saw a fight. I seen one dude punching a dude, another person choking him, and dude punching upwards. So, but everybody was just a fight.
So there was a fight going on inside of the cell?
Mhm.
And it sounded like, let me ask you, how many people were inside of the cell?
3.
And you said one dude is punching a dude, another dude is choking a dude, and then one dude is punching upwards. So let's kind of break that out a little bit. Is one person on their back?
Yes.
And is that the victim, Mr. Wetherington?
Yes.
Where is he at? Is he on the floor? Is he on one of the bunks?
He on his rack.
And when you say rack, just so everyone's clear, that's the bunk?
Bunk bed. Yeah.
Okay. And is he on the top rack or the bottom rack?
The bottom.
Okay. So he's on.
Yeah, it was a three-way fight. Well, that's what the prosecution alleges. James or Anthony Cummings and James Ogletree attacked the victim Wetherington, but Anthony Cummings was acquitted a week or two ago. So the only person left they've charged now is this guy on trial.
On his rack, bottom bed, on his back. And is there anybody over top of him?
Yeah.
Who's over top of him?
The other what's his name? Ogletree. What you call it?
Okay, so Mr. Ogletree is on top of Mr. Wetherington.
Mhm.
And I believe you said Mr. Wetherington was trying to punch up. Is that right?
Yeah, he was punching up,
What was Mr. Ogletree doing?
choking him and punching him.
Okay, so he's on top of him and he's choking him and punching him. And then what's Mr. Cummings doing?
Punching him, running to the door, and then punching him again, and running back to the door. So
What?
making sure, I guess, looking out so that nobody see what's going on.
When you saw this, what did you do?
Kept walking.
I'm sorry?
Kept walking.
Kept walking? Why would that? Why?
I didn't know the situation. Like I said, it
I
was a fight.
see nothing.
Okay.
Fights, like, fights happen all the time.
Could you, when you looked inside, could you hear any words being said back and forth? Okay. You just saw what you just testified to the jury and that was it?
Mhm.
Okay. At some point in time, do you remember seeing Mr. Cummings exit the cell?
Yeah, yeah.
And do you recall, did he have anything in his hands, if you remember?
Not that I was paying attention to.
Okay, you're not sure if he was carrying something or not? Did you ultimately see Mr. Cummings and Mr. Ogletree exit the cell together at some point?
No.
No, you never saw them leave the cell together?
No.
Okay. And then the next day you learned that, well, let me ask you, did you ever tell a corrections officer about what you saw?
No.
Why is that?
Because it was just a fight. Like I said, everybody was fighting. After a fight, everybody does themselves off and go their separate ways.
Okay. Did you ever see Mr. Wetherington later that evening?
No.
Okay. Did you ever see him that morning?
No.
The next day, so that was on December 6th. The next day, December 7th, did you learn at some point in time that Mr. Wetherington had passed?
Yeah.
And as a result of that, were you someone that was spoken to by the Ohio State Highway Patrol?
Yes.
And you gave them an interview on December 7th, that day after the events that you witnessed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is everything that you told them on December 7th, was that true and accurate?
Yes.
Now, later on in May of this year, you wrote our office a letter. Is that right? And you indicated that you didn't want to testify and you were having a hard time remembering things. Is that right?
Yes.
Why did you write that letter?
Because one, I didn't want to be here. Two, getting asked something that happened like years ago, and I had my own personal things that I was going through. Yeah, after that. So, yeah.
Okay. And is it fair to say you probably don't want to be here right now? Is that right?
Yes.
Is everything, though, that you testified to true and accurate?
Yes.
I have no further. Actually, I have one other question. The individual that you talked about is Mr. Ogletree. Do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And could you point him out and describe what he's wearing?
State blue shirt.
Identify the defendant.
Thank you, Ron. Nothing further.
Oh, they should have read the
Mr.
letter.
Keem, my name's Andrew Brenner. I represent Mr. Ogletree. I just have some questions for you here. So you indicated, as Mr. Knippen asked you, you indicated back, well, almost 5 months ago now, back in May, you had a hard time remembering what happened back in 2023.
Yes.
Didn't really seem like you had a hard time when he was asking you questions. Did something happen to refresh your memory?
I mean, I just happened here a month ago.
Okay. So did something happen in between that helped you remember, or did somebody talk to you, or I mean, what happened?
I watched the interview from after that day and just repeated what I said in the interview.
Okay, so somebody
He's
showed
more
you the
confident.
interview that you gave back at the time, and you're just repeating what you said in that interview.
Yeah.
So you don't actually remember. You just remember watching the interview.
I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember when he was the first trial, he was a lot more, I don't know. I saw that. He's a little more confident this time. And I think the defense attorney's picking up on that and asking about it. His answers are a little more confident than last time. And they should have read the letter, because that letter was freaking hilarious. He wrote a letter to the prosecutor when he was put on the witness list. I think he copied it from some law book and was just like, yeah, I don't know anything. I don't want to testify. Can you please remove my name from the witness list? And I don't want to testify. Thank you. And could you please let me know at your earliest convenience that my name has been removed from the witness list, because I do not want to testify. P.S. I don't want to testify. So can you please remove my name and let me know when you've removed my name? It was just this on and on and on.
Just watch the interview. That you don't actually, like, as you sit there right now, do you remember December 7th, 2023?
No.
Okay. So
Day that lives in infamy.
you testified you're now at Ross Correctional, right? You said you're on the honor block. Okay. And back in 2023, you were working as a tutor. Okay. And it sounded like you said something along the lines of fights kind of happen all the time. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. That's at Lebanon?
That's prison period.
I got you. Okay. Now you're at Ross Correctional now, right? How long have you been at Ross?
Since December of last year.
Okay. And so is Ross more or less violent than Lebanon in your experience?
Less.
Okay. So you testified that are you actively walking past the cell, or do you stop and look in?
I'm looking for somebody. I don't know what cell they're in, so I'm like walking by the cells to see if they in the cell.
Okay. And how long? I know you said you don't really remember, but were you just walking past, or did you kind of stop and watch for a while? Or
Walked past, looked in. I was like, whoa. Then kept going.
okay. And so, but you're sure? Oh, of what you saw in that cell that day?
Yeah, it was a fight.
Okay. Well, I mean, as you sit there today, are you sure? Or are you just going off your interview that you gave earlier?
I mean, I remember it being a fight. I remember that part.
I got you. Okay. How was everyone situated in the cell? Who was closest to the door?
The dude they call BJ,
Okay. How big is the window on the door?
probably like 4 inches wide,
Okay. So 4 inches wide. Is it tall too, kind of?
somewhat.
Okay. So you just walk past, you look in the cell, you see a fight's going on, and you're like, whoa, and you keep going.
Yeah, because that wasn't the cell where the picture belonged to.
I got you. And you indicated that you don't remember seeing anybody carrying anything.
No.
Okay. And so you walk past, you see if there's a 4-inch window, you see a fight going on. You said that BJ is closest to the door.
Mhm.
Where's everybody else?
They fighting on the rack.
Like on the bed,
Yeah, on the bottom.
on the bottom or the top?
The bottom.
And you could see everything clear through that 4-inch window.
For the most part,
Okay. And how long were you at Lebanon?
for years.
Okay. How big are those cells?
About the size of a bathroom.
So it's pretty tight in there, right? Fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the cell, if you include, because the beds are up against the wall, right?
Mhm.
If you include kind of the area for you to stand in the cell that's not the beds, is it as wide as the podium that you're sitting at right now?
Including the bed is the free space in the cell as wide as this podium?
Yep.
No.
So it's fair to say it's pretty tight in there.
Yeah.
All right. So if 3 people are in a cell, I mean, there's not a whole lot of room to move, right?
No.
Okay. And you said that BJ is closest to the door. All right. Who's farthest from the door? Can you tell?
2 people fight.
Okay. Just a moment, Your Honor.
He's a lot more active in his defense than Cummings was. I will say that. I do like that he's participating.
Your Honor, I don't have any questions.
Any redirect?
And I like that the lawyer's actually going to his client and talking to him before he wraps up cross. That's interesting. Different jury, Paul, yeah.
Just so I'm clear, when Mr. Brenner was talking to you about people's positions in the cell, do you remember that?
Yeah.
And he was asking you who was closest to the door, and you indicated BJ, right?
Mhm.
BJ is Mr. Cummings. That's Anthony Cummings, right?
Yeah.
He was the one that was closest to the door, and it was Mr. Ogletree was the one on top of Mr. Wetherington on the bottom rack, right?
Mhm.
It was Mr. Ogletree that was punching him and choking him.
Yeah.
And that's what you told the troopers back on December 7th, 2023. But it's fresh in your memory, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And what you told them was true and accurate at the time. You have no reason to make up anything. Is that right?
Exactly.
You don't know Mr. Ogletree?
No.
You don't have a beef with him that you're trying to settle?
No.
Okay. No further questions.
Any recross?
Briefly, Your Honor. So Mr. Kniffton just asked you if you know Mr. Ogletree. Did you know Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Okay, how'd you know him?
We went to school and we played basketball together. Sometimes ate together, stuff like that.
Okay. So would you consider yourself? I mean, I know it's prison.
Acquaintances.
What's that?
Acquaintances.
Okay. But it sounds like you're eating together, playing ball together sometimes. I mean, right, you're maybe on your way to being friends. Is it fair to say?
Yeah.
All right. I got you.
Maybe more than friends.
And again, Mr. Kniffton asked you if you were being honest
EFFs.
back in December of 2023, right? But is it fair to say, I mean, based on your responses earlier, you don't really remember 2023. You just watched the video that you gave back then.
I mean, it's 2 years ago.
Yeah, I got you.
Lots happened.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Mr. Keem, please reduce them to writing. Do not discuss or display any proposed question with any other member of the jury. So them, and then the attorneys may.
Thanks, Judge.
All right, Mr. Keem, the members of the jury have a number of questions for you, and I'm going to read them. You'll answer them, and then the attorneys may have some follow-up questions for you. Okay, so I need to answer out loud.
Yes.
First question, did you keep walking to avoid snitching, getting hurt?
I had a job to do. Kept walking because of that.
If you didn't know Ogletree, how did you identify him today?
This person here in court, right?
I'm sorry?
I mean, court because of him, right?
Oh, that's your identification? Because he's in court? He's at the defense table? He's not wearing a suit? What? Look at that little smirk on his face. He's not dumb. Wow, this juror is so freaking based. Oh, wow. I gotta hear this again.
I need to answer out loud.
Yes.
Please
May I-
hear these again.
Thanks, Judge. All right, Mr. Keem, the members of the jury have a number of questions for you, and I'm going to read them.
Number.
You'll answer them, and then the attorneys may have some follow-up questions for you. Okay, sir? I need to answer out loud.
Yes.
First question, did you keep walking to avoid snitching, getting hurt?
I had a job to do. Kept walking because of that.
If you didn't know Ogletree, how did you identify him today?
This person here in court, right?
I'm sorry?
I mean, court because of him, right?
The jury wants to know, if you didn't know Mr. Ogletree, how did you identify him today?
Because we was on the same block.
Why did they send you to
Because we was on the same block. I mean, not a single lawyer picked up on that either. So that juror is really batting 1,000.
Ross?
Because I got my level dropped, went to a level 2, got into a fight, got level back up to another level 3.
Were you rewarded for your testimony here today?
Coming in court? No.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary with the fight?
Were you rewarded for your testimony today? Wow. One of these jurors is really sus.
No.
Why did you not tell anyone about the fight?
Didn't know what the fight was for. What I was supposed to say. People fighting
Did Cummings say anything to you?
as far as what? Period. He said he felt stupid for fighting, dude.
It seemed like you were unsure of who Mr. Ogletree was. Are you sure he was the one on top of the victim?
Yeah.
Were you moved to Ross because of your testimony?
No, I went to a 2, then got leveled back up.
Okay, I'm just reading.
Yeah, I understand.
Did you know what Mr. Ogletree looked like before you saw him that day?
You know, just slept in the same block. I know everybody.
Were you friends with Mr. Cummings at the time of the attack?
I don't got friends, but we was pretty cool.
Aw.
right. Mr.
Defense did a better job impeaching him, or sorry, the jury did a better job impeaching him than the defense. I remember that one, Kay. Hey, bye, Franz. I didn't know if he made it onto the jury, Kay. But I remember one juror said that, potential juror. I don't know if it's like this county is so based. They have such a good jury pool.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I
Any questions?
downloaded it.
Based on the
Hey.
jury's questions, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
No.
All right, you may step down. Excuse me.
So I think we got one more guy today. A few minutes.
Next up is
Vincent Wicker.
Okay.
Go through each raise right hand, push your hand. Swear by the
So,
testimony.
stalemate.
Proceeds to be true, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so God.
Yeah.
See,
This is what Aaron's going to look like after 2 weeks.
you need water. Yeah.
All fine, thank you.
Let's touch me.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, would you please state your name, spell your last name for the record?
Vincent Wicker, WHICKER.
Mr. Wicker, you're currently in prison. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You were convicted of aggravated robbery and kidnapping back in 2017.
Yes, sir.
Back in December of 2023, which block were you housed in at Lebanon Correctional Institution?
J. John,
And approximately, do you remember how long you've been in J. John?
like 60 days at that time.
Okay. During your time in J. John, were you familiar with an inmate by the name of Anthony Cummings, nicknamed BJ?
Yeah.
And were you familiar with an inmate, James Ogletree?
Not really. I've just seen him around.
Okay, somebody that you knew from J
Yeah,
Block?
he was I just know him around, just around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Yeah, brother.
Did you point him out? Just describe the shirt that he's wearing?
Blue shirt.
Identifying the defendant.
Thank you. And then were you also familiar with Marquise Weatherington, sometimes goes by Stutters?
Yeah, I was just familiar with all these guys because Lebanon's block small. I mean, you all in there all day, every day together, so you kind of familiar with everybody. Just because you don't talk to them don't mean you don't know who they are.
Okay. I want to direct your attention back to the evening of December 6th of 2023. That evening, around 6:30, 7 o'clock, did one of the inmates come up and ask you to do something?
Yeah, I was on the phone. I was on the phone with my wife. BJ put up on me and asked me to 6'5". I told him I would. I went and stood by the shower.
So one second, I want to stop you.
Yeah.
You said a lot of stuff there that not everyone may know. You said BJ came up to you and started talking to you. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
BJ is Anthony Cummings.
I don't know his real name. I just know he's the one that came and talked to me.
Okay. And you said he came up to you and asked you to do a 6'5".
Yes, sir.
So BJ
Want me to-
came.
What is a 6'5"?
A 6'5" is where you watch for the police to let them know when they're coming to the cell. If they're doing a round, you just let them know somebody's coming. It's like basically like a watch out.
To kind of alert people if the corrections officers are doing their range checks or
Yes, sir.
anything like that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So he asked you to
About
do that. You
6'9".
agreed to do that.
Yes, sir.
Did he say where he was going or what he was doing?
No, he didn't say nothing, man. He just said, hey, man, he said, hey, man, let me know when the CO's coming up the stairs. Just yell my name. I hung up the phone with my wife and just went and stood by the shower. And then when the CO came in, CO was about to come upstairs. I went to the door, knocked on it to let them know they was coming in, and I went to the other side of the range, and that's all I had to do with it.
Okay. So just so I'm clear, he makes this request of you. You go up, then you're on the second range. Is that right? You're
Yes, sir.
sitting there by the shower.
Yes, sir.
And you're watching out to see if the CO is going to come anywhere near the cell. Where did BJ go into that cell with anybody?
I was still on the phone with my wife. I told him to give me a couple minutes and I would be standing by the shower. So I don't know if who went in here with him. I just know when I went in there, I seen 3 guys in there and that was it. I don't know. I just know. And then BJ came and hit me up later. And then the next morning, that's why we're here. You know what I mean?
Okay. So he asked you to watch for CO and you agree to do that.
Yes,
so
sir.
you're watching and you know he went into cell 2J3. Is that right?
Damn, it was 3. I thought it was like 6 or something.
Okay. Fair to say, do you remember which one it was?
It's been so long ago. I forgot about all this thing until you came and talked to me the other day.
Okay.
So it's kind of like still in my, you know what I mean?
So you are watching out for the CO and at some point you go and knock on the cell door.
Yes, sir.
What's the reason that you go knock on the cell door?
Because the CO was coming up the steps. I
And
was just doing what I was asked to do.
when you looked in the cell, what did you see, if anything?
Just some commotion. There was 3 people. I don't know if you guys know anything about Lebanon, but their cells is like literally littler than a closet. So you really can't
Gaddafi was a
tell when
bad
then just
dude.
3 big ass dudes. It's a sorry for my language. 3 big people in a cell. It was just commotion. I didn't see nobody, hear nothing. I didn't hear nobody yelling. I just seen commotion, and I just figured it was best for me to get away from the door. And that's when you see me on camera walking around the range,
When you say commotion, what do you mean?
like just movement. I wasn't there that long. I just peeked in and said, "Hey, the police coming," and bounce. It wasn't like I was there, like, you know what I mean? So all I saw was commotion, like tussling, you know what I mean? Something like that. But I never knew nobody was going in there with him. I never knew what they was doing. I just know they was asking me to 6'5", and I said I would do it for them.
Okay. And you saw 3 people in there tussling with one another.
I mean, I can't say that for a fact, but I just know there was 3 people in there with commotion.
Okay.
Well, were they fighting or making love, sir?
After you
Big
knocked
difference.
on the door, what did you do?
I said, "Hey, the CO coming," and I walked around the range, and I seen the CO walk past the cell. The CO ain't even stop or see nothing, so I kind of waved my way back to where they could hear me, and I said, "Hey, man, the CO on the range, the CO on the range." Then I walked away, and then BJ came walking out. That's the one I talked to.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
like
conversation did you have, if any?
he came to me, he's like,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, and Serge good too.
Oh, that's good.
Hello.
So you've been listening?
Not for the last 10 minutes. What's going on?
Oh, okay. More based questions by the jury.
Oh, sweet.
For the last guy who was not called in the last trial, but another person in the cell block who's a witness.
I've seen him.
Yeah, he was called. He was the cellmate, so he's called again.
So did I miss a whole witness?
Um.
So I saw a guy who should have had the letter.
Oh no, yeah, no, it was letter guy. I'm sorry. Yeah, letter guy was called.
Letter guy. I'm so annoyed. Yep. I really want to hear the letter again. I'm like,
I know. I can't believe they didn't play it.
Why did they play
but,
it? That was great.
So yeah, this guy was called. But yeah, the jury is just so great with the questions, like asking.
What they ask? What they ask? Give me an example.
Oh, they wanted to know. Like the guy said he didn't know Ogletree. So one of the jurors.
Yeah.
But then he identified Ogletree later. So one of the jurors asked him how he knew Ogletree or how he could identify Ogletree if he didn't know him.
Well, he didn't say I didn't know him. He just said he not only kinda. Like he said he didn't say no, I didn't know him. Right? He just said I was sort of. He said sorta.
Yeah.
Right. So that indicates to me like they're not friends.
But and then one juror asked what he was promised for his testimony.
Hi. That's a good question. So someone should have asked him that.
Oh yeah, and were you and Cummings friends?
Yeah, because obviously they weren't. Did he say no?
Yeah.
Right.
And then his answer was he's why we're here in court, right?
He's why we're here in court, right? Cummings is not the reason why we're here in court.
No, the defendant.
Yeah, okay.
That's somebody's life, you feel me?
Sure. But is it correct? You remember being asked to be a lookout.
Yeah, I do remember that.
You knocked on the door. You see 3 people in there tussling.
Yes, sir.
You see BJ come out with food.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one moment, Your Honor.
It's never
I don't have any further questions.
Cross.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wicker, my name's Andrew Brenner. I represent Mr. Ogletree. I just have a couple questions for you here.
Yes, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you said something like you forgot all about it until you came to talk to me about it.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I mean, it's not like I just think about something every day. You know, I never had no court papers. Nobody's came and talked to me. Nobody, you know, I mean, it's been 2 years. So it's not like it's just been something on my mind.
Who came to talk to you?
The prosecuting attorney.
Okay. And you said it's been
in Ohio State Patrol. I forgot.
Okay.
Ohio State Patrol.
And you said it's been so long since you saw the video.
No, I just seen a video the other day.
Who showed you the video?
The prosecuting attorney. That's how I know what to say today, because I just saying what I got on camera. That's the only thing I did.
I got you. And so
that's how you know what to say. I just want to
narrow it down. You said you saw 3 big dudes in the cell and you saw commotion.
Yeah, that's it. I can't say
what.
This defense attorney is shit, right? This guy just said, that's how I know what to say because I spoke to the prosecuting attorney. Why did he not pick up on that? Sorry, did you just say that you know what to say because you spoke to the prosecuting attorney?
I don't give him that much credit to be doing this, but it could be that he's letting the juror who's really based ask questions and kind of grill these witnesses.
Bullshit.
But he's not clever enough, I don't think, to do that.
No, he's missed too much already. A good defense attorney would have picked right the fuck up on that.
Yeah.
Once
we both did.
Did you just say that you only are saying what the prosecutor told you to say? Hello.
Or you just repeating what's in the video and not from your memory?
He can lead the fuck away as well. He's pissing me off.
I seen anything else other than commotion, but them cells are so small you wouldn't be able to tell what
How
was
small
going
are they?
Are the size of a bathroom. A bathroom in a regular house is about what we live in.
Okay. How much? So fair to say, if you got 3 grown men in that cell,
it's gonna be hell.
It's pretty tight.
Yeah, it's tight.
Fair to say.
Yeah,
right?
It's fair to say 2 people in there is very tight. If you got 2 big people in there,
yeah.
And you have Sonny the Pug?
Ain't nobody just moving around each other in them cells.
How much room? You know, because we've seen some pictures of the cell, right? We got the beds up against the wall, right? There's a toilet and a sink in the back,
and then there's a cabinet.
And how much room is in between the beds and the wall? Like if you can measure it out with your arms from where you're sitting right there.
I wouldn't say no more than. I'm handcuffed.
Oh, you're handcuffed.
It's probably.
Is it as wide as the podium you're at right now?
Yeah, it's probably about that. It's just enough for one person to move around at a time.
I got you. So if there's two, I mean, how is it? Can you even really get past each other?
No, I mean, you gotta excuse me, bump me.
Yeah,
you know
I
what I
got
mean?
you.
You know what I mean? Like try to brush past you, or somebody goes in the corner and you can get it.
Excuse me,
just,
Mr.
I don't know. It's
Weddington.
messed up where I live at.
I got you. Are you still at Lebanon?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Would you mind if I partaked in the
And you indicated that BJ,
Sir?
who you believe is Mr. Cummings, told you to be 6'5", be a lookout.
Yeah, he was just like, hey, bro, 6'5" for me real quick. I got something for you. I was on the phone with my wife. I said, all right, bro. I said, babe, let me call you back. She started yelling at me. That's why it took me a minute to get out of the phone room. She started yelling at me like, you always taking time for them. You living there with them all day. So it was just.
I got you. You're dealing with it on both ends, right? Yeah, I hear you. So did you ever have any
Jeez, he's in prison and still getting shit from his wife?
interaction with Mr. Ogletree?
No.
Or he didn't say anything to you? All right, you didn't see him?
I mean, I'm not saying I didn't. I mean, I didn't see him because there was. I mean, I can't point a man out saying that he was in whatever. I just know for a fact that there was 3 people in there when I looked in the window.
Yeah.
And that's it. I said, hey, the police coming. And I took my happy ass around the corner so I didn't get in trouble.
I got you. How big is the window on that cell?
2 foot.
2 foot tall or
2 foot wide? Probably maybe 2 rulers, maybe 1.5 rulers wide.
Okay.
Probably like.
All right, I got you.
I don't know. It's little. They're not big windows.
It's not as wide as the cell.
No.
Is it even half as wide as the cell?
No, it's like a third of it. It's like you could probably fit 3 windows in that cell.
So it's like
a little ass window.
Like a slit.
It's like the size of this
It's like a slit.
computer screen, maybe just a little smaller.
Okay. And is it taller than it is wide?
Yeah, it's longer up.
Yeah.
Because there's like 2 of them, but it's like it would be like this computer upside down.
Okay.
Like standing on its side.
Okay. So when you got 3 grown men in a cell that's that small, right? It's kind of as wide as the podium that you're at right now.
Yes, sir.
And you're looking through a narrow window. Is it fair to say it's hard to see anything going on?
Yeah, it's that's what I said. I just seen commotion. I didn't know. I can't tell you exactly what was going on because I couldn't see it.
I got you. Got just a moment, Grant.
We'll be ending in just a moment.
Should we have time to look at the comment?
I think tomorrow. I want to do it justice.
So, Mr. Wicker, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you said something like BJ, who was Mr. Cummings, said something like, I got something for you.
Yeah.
Did you get it? I mean, did he pay you?
Yeah, he just gave me a couple soups and a fish, and then we all got locked down. And then the next morning, everybody was on lockdown again, so I didn't get to see him again.
Okay.
He gave me some food though.
So, but he did give you something.
Yes, sir.
Did Mr. Ogletree ever give you anything?
No, sir.
And so you're still at 11.
Yes, sir.
How often do fights and violence and stuff like that go down?
About 10 times a day, man.
So it's constant.
It's constant. Oh, it's the worst prison in the state of Ohio. I've been around all of it. Lebanon's the worst prison in the state of Ohio, hands down, living conditions and violence conditions.
Okay. So we talking about gangs?
Yes.
We're talking about stabbings?
Yes.
Beatings?
Yes.
Locking a sock?
Yes.
So
hot oil, we can go on the list. The list can go on and on in Lebanon.
But it's all the time.
It's all the time. Yeah, that ain't no, you ain't gonna hear it.
You want some hot oil for Anthony Cummings, sir? Got some hot Earl? What the hell kind of medieval prison is this? Good Lord. Hot oil? What are you going to do? Tar and feather him next for the love of God?
Hey, you interrupted that time. The crazy lady in the comments, that was him.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I apologize, crazy lady.
Yeah.
And Sal looks like a Muppet that's been left out in the rain. Thank you, David, as always.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna go a whole day without a signal 3.
All right. And what's the signal 3?
A fight or a man down to where you gotta go to the block.
I got you. And that's like a lockdown kind of thing. All right. And so, I mean, with this, with all this violence, all this stuff going on, I mean, is there a code amongst the prisoners kind of thing? I mean, is it, if this highway patrol or the investigators at the prison come and talk to you, are you supposed to say something to them
Thank
or
you,
not?
David.
I mean, you don't got to. I mean, you're supposed to take somebody else with you for real.
When you say take somebody else with you, what is
As
that?
a witness, if you in a gang, you really ain't supposed to talk to an investigator without nobody else around you. You'll get beat for that.
I got you. Okay. No,
Trust
there's
but
drugs in the
verify.
facility too, right?
I can't speak on that. I don't do drugs.
Fair enough. But have you seen it? Do you know about it?
Yeah.
All right. So
Good
there's
for
all
him.
kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, it's just like you see on TV, man.
All right.
Probably worse.
Fair enough.
Probably
And
worse.
just to clarify, right? BJ asked you to look out and then gives you some food after the fact.
Yeah, yeah.
Did he say, hey, this is for whatever?
He just said, here, bro, go ahead.
Right. Fair enough. Was it in a bag? How did he get
They
it?
just handed it to me right then and there. Like he went to his cell. I don't know. I just know he walked out with a bag in his hand. And then when we went down the range, he went to his cell. I went to my cell. I came back out and that's when he handed me the food.
All right.
I ain't even asking for it. They just, you feel me, gave it to me.
I got you. No further questions here.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have
Wait.
any questions for Mr. Wicker, please reduce.
Did we make fun of prison grape at all today? Did I?
No. Well, I don't know. I don't.
Hella didn't. I don't think I have.
I never do.
No, that's a pretty horrific thing. So maybe
Who did it?
I don't know. Somebody was accusing me of making fun of it.
Who's somebody?
What is this fascination with prison grape, sick fucks? Okay, boy,
Hmm.
everybody's just going at me.
Well, I mean, David is, but he pays you.
Well, David is, but he always does.
Yeah,
I mean,
except like I don't because I get free goes at you.
Yeah.
But I hate jokes about prison grape.
yeah, that's like
I think
of all the
crap.
things I will make fun of, and the fact that I have
Mhm.
zero censor. Well, I have a censor,
Mhm.
but I find everything funny. That's
Mhm,
like the one thing I
generally.
don't joke about.
Yeah, it's crap. Should we ignore that it happens? No, I don't think we should ignore that it happens. I really don't. I think that if it
Yeah.
happens, then it should be prosecuted. It's fucked.
Yeah.
Fucked. Like this is getting prosecuted. Murdering people
Yeah.
in prison is being prosecuted. Why the fuck should prison grape not be prosecuted?
Yeah.
It should. It's crap. Should not be.
Yeah,
overlooked.
I don't know what they're talking about. I mean, maybe they misheard me or something.
Well,
Our jokes
maybe
was
someone
about
else-
consensual gay sex.
It could be someone in chat that said something.
In the writing, do not discuss or display any proposed question with other members of the jury.
Someone just accused me of making light of it.
No,
Half
but-
Irish.
Yeah, Mav. Certain sicko victims talk about it
Yeah.
lightly.
Like, if you get angry at me for making fun of something that I made fun of, okay, I don't really care. I mean, but
I joke about jokes.
that's like
yeah.
one thing I don't make fun of, and I
Yeah,
don't
we
think
joke
it's really
about
funny. Nick, I see what you did there.
And the members of the jury have just a few questions. I'm going to read them and you'll
that's
answer
fair.
them. And then the members of the attorneys may have.
Sal would feel right at home in prison because of the. God damn it, David!
David, stop it.
You're not.
No,
you're not
no,
helping
no.
me right now.
No. And also, we're not thanking you for that one.
That's a follow-up.
Well, thank you for the money.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're such a prostitute.
The only person that you know was in the cell was BJ. The only person that you knew was in the cell was BJ. That's because he asked you to keep an eye out.
Yes, sir.
Did the other guy have his back to you?
Yeah, I couldn't see his face in the cell.
Did you see any blood on BJ
No, sir.
or on the food you?
Wait. He just said he couldn't see the defendant.
What?
The only person that you know was in the cell was BJ. The only person that you knew was in the cell was BJ. That's because he asked you to keep an eye out.
Yes, sir.
Did the other guy have his back to you?
Yeah, I couldn't see his face in the cell.
Did you see any blood on BJ
No, sir.
or on the food you received?
No, sir.
Is it possible for one person to be holding someone down on the bed and another to beat the person being held down?
It depends on what cell you in. If you get a corner cell, you might be able to do that. Not in no regular cell. Like, it's just there ain't too many. There ain't a lot of space in there to be moving around like that. Especially in the beds. they're so little. If you bend down, you want to smack your head every time you even move or anything. So I can't say, but as far as my speculation, no.
Did the state reward you for identifying Ogletree?
No.
Were you ever charged in this? No.
Wow.
Oh, a prosecutor.
This is just wow. Yeah. Oh, maybe the juror is a defense attorney.
Yeah.
Once you found out the next day that a man had died, why did you not say anything?
Oh.
They already found him. Shit, I didn't know what was going on. My little brother was in the cell with him. They locked my little brother up. And that's how we all found out he was dead, was at breakfast. And then when we came back from breakfast, they locked everybody down. We was on lockdown for like 3 days.
All right. Any questions based on the jury's questions?
Yeah, Your Honor.
Mr. Brenner?
Just maybe one, Your Honor. So you said your little brother. What does that mean?
My little, he's part of my gang. He's a gangster disciple like me.
Okay.
He was a dude Selly.
So Weatherington Sully was in the gang with you.
Yeah.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything?
Yeah, Your Honor.
All right, so you're going to step down. Thank you.
Can we approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that's about it.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time it is 4:08, and the next witness is going
it's
to be
4:11.
probably longer than an hour. So there's going to be some video, I think, that's going to be shown with that person's testimony. So now would be a nice time to break for the evening. Okay. Remember my instructions earlier about discussing the case with anyone or allow anyone to discuss it with you in your presence.
Okay, so that was a lot of fun. Really interesting. Kind of a different perspective than we saw last time, and the questions are just amazing.
From the juror?
Well, yes, not from the lawyers, but
No.
just give their JD to the damn juror. Yeah, defense is dropping the ball, but juror can dunk, yeah. So I'll be back with the start of day 2 tomorrow and continue it, which apparently gets pretty wild. They do have the medical examiner tomorrow, so like last time, I'm going to skip that part because holy crap, they show everything.
Yucky.
And there is no need for that. Plot twist, Sean is on the jury. Oh, he would so acquit. So yeah, we'll do this tomorrow.
Everyone gets acquitted, so no one did it.
Right?
Yeah.
Medical expert assessment. He was dead. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'm going to redirect all of you over to Hella next for a very interesting interview.
Guys, you have to see this. Right? Like, you have to see this. It's going viral, although when I say it's going viral, it hasn't gone like so far yet that I think you haven't seen it. That I think you've seen it. If you've seen it, you need to see it again. That's all I'm going to say. Tune in. It's starting in 3 minutes. World's greatest interview. Man confesses to killing his parents. And then there's more.
Yes.
I'm jumping off and I'll be back in a minute. Bye.
Sounds good. We'll see you over there.
See you there.
Okay. David, thank you again for another super chat. I think it's highly inappropriate that Sal would joke about baby oil being a commodity and bloody BJs. Good Lord. Thank you, David, I think. Thank you, Erica, for the super chats today. It was very nice of you guys. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It was a lot of fun. So I am going to end it now. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. for the rest of this trial. And tomorrow we'll start courtroom roulette again at 10 a.m. Eastern. So thanks, everyone, and I shall see you over there in a minute. Toodles. Thanks, Jim.